Alright, hello and welcome back to Kidtastic Games. Today I'm going to be playing the demo of Dreambound. If you've never heard of this game before, it is made by the same people who made A Date with Death. And I really enjoyed A Date with Death, so when I heard that they had this demo out for another one of their games, I was really excited to get into it. I want to know what this game is about. I don't know too much, and what I do know of this game kind of confuses me. Something about dreams, something about like a prison, locked up, art, I think. I don't really know, so we're just gonna hop into it. We're gonna see what this game is and see how excited I should be for its eventual release. Let's just hop right in, hit begin, see what this is. Okay, not where I expected to start, but it was 2:37 p.m. on a Friday. On this specific day, at this specific time, let me see, can I do spacebar to continue? Yes. A funeral was being held. Okay. He was so young. How unfortunate. There would be many more Fridays, many more days where the clock would tick over to 2:37 p.m. Time would go on, whether one person was here or not. So much talent wasted. What did it mean to be alive? And what did it mean to be dead? His family must be devastated. What did it mean to exist? And when would the existential dread finally cease? A boy with brown hair sat in the corner, alone. To him, that coffin looked much too small. Much too small to hold a soul so large. Much too small to contain an entire existence with all of its history. Noah, tomorrow, everyone else will go on living. Tomorrow, everyone else will forget. And if not tomorrow, next day. One day, everyone forgets. The brown-haired boy held tight to his chest. He would not forget. But even he could not convince himself of these words. How easy it was to spout platitudes while someone lay dead 10 feet away. Sorry. It was 2:37 p.m. on a Friday. And on this Friday, a funeral was being held for two. Okay, not what I expected to just start this game with, but okay, I'm gonna skip this intro if I can. Prologue, the me that died all those years ago. Okay. I was also reminded as I was watching the intro that I have a new setup for making videos, as you'll have already seen because you've been watching this video. I know that I need to change a couple of things in the border because we have a little black bar on each side. But let me know what you think about that in this video as we go through this, because I like having the camera to the side so that I'm not blocking anything on the actual game screen, but let me know what you think. Let's head into this then. Alone, confined within his prison, the man sits, his back slouched and his arm raised. In his hand, a paintbrush. A weapon in his eyes, perhaps. A tool. From it, life should flourish into every corner of a world part imaginary, part very much real. Waves crash onto the white shores. The night sky reflects back on itself, a sea of stars amidst the swirling currents. All is calm, yet not. But as it were, that world didn't exist. Couldn't exist. It would never exist. It could not be created by this hand. The man holds his paintbrush up to the empty canvas, blank, like many of the rest. Is it day or is it night? He does not know. Light doesn't belong in a place like this, after all. It has never belonged. He closes his eyes, waiting for it to appear. Something. Anything. A vision, a masterpiece, a muse, an apparition that could inspire his creativity. Anything at all. But nothing comes to him. Nothing comes without fail, without exception. Every stroke he laid against that impossibly bright white canvas was like a stain on his soul, a dirty mark on what should have been pristine. By his hand, all he could create was loneliness. Nothing belongs. Nothing would ever belong again, for he was broken. Time moves like this, unfailingly. An eternity passes, or what feels like it, as a clock slowly ticks away. Tick-tock, tick-tock. Never ending. But what is time to someone with no time left to give? His hand shakes. He cannot force it to paint, yet he cannot set his hand down either. Behind his closed eyes, he wards off the tiredness that he could feel at the edge of his consciousness. Perhaps a dream would help him paint. Perhaps if he simply allowed himself to be carried away in that star-filled ocean, inspiration would strike. Or perhaps it would take him away from this world and finally bring him peace. Yet he opened his eyes, denying the very thought. Anything but that. Anything but a dream. Was it fear? Hate? Disgust? No, it was more. Much more. This was no base emotion. This was something far more deep, far more sinister. The minds of men were warped beyond recognition. Their being had become wholly evil. During the day, they wore masks to hide their intentions. But during the night, inside their dreams, the mask would fall. What was once pure and right was now corrupt beyond repair. Noah, you need to stop this at once. You can't live off this, whatever these scribbles are meant to be. Imagine what people would say about me, about us. Why can't you be more like your brother? It's about time you grew up. You're not a kid anymore. Go throw all of your stupid little books out already and give this up. No, this is all I have. All I have left. This is all his fault. Look at what he's done to our son. Please, I need something. Just one thing. Let me have just one. The letter laid at rest on the table, unopened. He lacked the courage to open it, too scared to read the words that would shape his life. His fingers, trembling, came ever closer, until the feel of the textured envelope brushed against his fingertips. It felt like life. It felt like the future. It felt like the one thing that could pull him out of the deep pit he found himself in, slowly being buried alive. He opened the envelope in one fell swoop. Words spread out across the page, perfectly ordered. He suddenly felt as if he lost the ability to read. In that dim light, he tried anyway. Dear Noah, it is with great pleasure that I inform you that you have been selected to receive the Copper Cove University of Art Excellence Scholarship. Each year, only one student is chosen statewide to receive this scholarship through a process of portfolio presentations, interviews, and recommendations from prior instructors. The Copper Cove Academy of Art Excellence Scholarship provides full tuition for your years at our school. Please note that students with this scholarship must be enrolled full-time and maintain a 3.5 grade point average to continue to receive their scholarship. Once again, I congratulate you on your selection of this great honor. We look forward to seeing you on campus. In front of his eyes, the letter turned to dust, floating away on the wind into that imaginary world. Memories of the past aimed towards him like daggers. They pierced his flesh, but that didn't matter anymore. He was used to it. In fact, he sometimes wondered if he enjoyed it now. The pain spread through his body, but at least he could finally feel something. His paintbrush, still tinged with color, stayed motionless against the canvas. Resisting the urge to yawn, he rubbed at his eyes with his spare hand. A ringing sounded through the darkness, echoing through the soulless house. No one was around to pick it up. No one except... Go away. It kept ringing and ringing, then ringing some more. Then it stopped. Until it began again. Go away! Noah clutched at his head, the ache only made worse by the constant sound that pierced his ears. He wanted to ignore it. More than anything, he didn't want to answer the phone. But the color was stubborn, and Noah easily irritated. He stood from his stool, dropping the paintbrush to the ground. It clacked against the wooden floor, paint flying across the blanks. Just more added to the already growing collection. At this point, more paint was splattered over his house than there was on any canvas. Slowly, each step deliberate, he walked towards his phone. The model was old, same one he'd had since he was a teenager. He looked at the number on the illuminated screen, but he didn't recognize it. Still, the ringing continued. I should just turn the stupid fucking thing off. He stared at the screen, the light burning his eyes. And for some reason, he picked it up. Noah? Is that you? What do you want? How did you get this number? It's me, your dad. Can we talk? I answered the phone, didn't I? What do you want? Please, it's been so long. What do you want? Your mother has just passed away. Please, come to the funeral at least. Noah removed the phone from his ear and slid his finger along the screen. It went silent, the other person never to know what happened. Without a second thought, he switched the phone off and dropped it into the rubbish. So she's dead. His voice lacked any emotion. Whether this fact made him happy or sad, no one would be able to tell. He walked back towards his easel. On it, still blank canvas, waiting to be brought to life. He threw it to the ground in a heap with the rest of the abandoned masterpieces, before sending his foot crashing down towards them, breaking them in half. One after another, he smashed them into pieces soundlessly. Not a word or cry escaped his lips. Only a silent fury. Not at his mother's passing. Only aimed towards himself. Finished, but not feeling any more fulfilled, he dropped to the ground and curled into a ball. His eyelids felt heavier and heavier until finally he found sleep. But even sleep wasn't so restful. Okay. Noah awoke to the sound of a key turning in a door, then the same door opening slowly. Footsteps started off slow before they sped up, coming directly towards him. But he didn't flinch or turn to look at who it was. If someone wants to kill me, let them. If they want to steal any of the shit, go for it. I don't care anymore. I don't care. So just let me die. Noah, what are you doing on the ground? Are you okay? Noah should have realized who it was, yet he somehow felt disappointed. Would have been better if it was someone here to kill me already. Go away, I'm resting. You have a perfectly good bedroom 1 room over. Come on, let me help you get to bed. I don't want to. Just leave already. Let me at least get you some water. Come on. Cain extended his hand to Noah, who stared back at it blankly. Cain was the same as he'd always been. Kind, dependable, hardworking. Charismatic, funny, popular. Everything he wasn't. With a sigh, he took Cain's hand and let himself be guided towards the sea. He fished out a bottle of water from his bag, obviously bought in preparation for the visit. Must be nice, living the kind of life where you buy bottled water. Noah took a sip, feeling the coolness make his throat hurt just a little bit less. Must have been a while since I last drank anything. I didn't notice. Noah. I gave you that spare key for emergencies, you know. I'd say this count as an emergency, wouldn't you? Noah, this has to stop. You need to get some help. Get outside, I don't know, just... Things need to change. You can't keep living like this. Noah angrily pulled away from Cain, a frown settling on his brow. No, nothing has to change. I'm fine the way I am. I didn't ask for your help, so stop butting into my life. You didn't need to. Look, this isn't like you. You didn't used to be like this, you know? He wouldn't want this for you either. You know that. Shut up. Don't bring him up. He was my best friend too. I'm allowed to talk about him. And I'm certain this isn't what he wants you to do. A silence spread out between them as both looked away from each other, searching for what to say. Between them was a gap that didn't used to be there once upon a time. How's your painting going? What does it look like to you? Noah shrugged but continued when Kane stayed silent. I should just give up. There's no point anymore. I can't paint. I'm just wasting my time. Of course you can't. I've seen you paint before. I know what you're capable of. Then why? Look around you. Can't I do it anymore? It's too late. Everything feels dirty. There's nothing worth capturing left. I'm chasing a light that doesn't exist. But look, you have plenty of nice paintings around. Noah looked between them. They morphed in his mind, becoming too ugly to even glance at. They're nothing. Less than nothing. This is what the end feels like, I think. Wouldn't it be nice if the world just ended tomorrow? You know, maybe going out and experiencing some new things would help to spark your passion. Meeting new people would be good for you. There's no point. I'll die surrounded by my blank canvases, and then finally, I'll have my only masterpiece. Noah. As if unsure about what to say, Kane found the remote and turned on the old, small TV. A news presenter, dressed impeccably, read out the news with so little emotion you would wonder if she really cared about the words leaving her mouth. Next up, we have some breaking news from directly on the scene. A number of bodies have been found with strange flower-like markings first believed to be tattoos. Analysts say that no ink, pigment, or burn marks are featured on the victims, which has ground the investigations to a halt until they can find out what these markings mean. Further proof that true art is found in death. Ugh. With a disgusted sound from deep in Kane's throat, he switched the TV off, as if deciding that silence would be better. I'll ask you one more time, okay? Please, let me help you. I don't want your help. I just want you to leave me alone and to stop coming here. Friends, Noah. I'm not going anywhere. I don't want any friends. I don't deserve any. I don't want the only person left that matters to me to betray me too. Better if you just leave now. I'm not going anywhere. I promise. I told you to leave, not stay. As if on cue, Kane stood, producing another water bottle from his leather bag. He stepped closer and closer until he stood in front of a potted plant, the only bit of life left in the entire house. He watered it slowly, deep in thought. Make sure you look after this, alright? I can't stop by every day. Good. Finished, Kane walked towards the door and opened it wide. Noah shielded his eyes from the sun. I just want to see you go back to your old self, alright? I want to help you. He doesn't exist. He shut the door with a soft thud. Once again, he was alone. How I prefer to be. Noah stood from his stool and wobbled as the room spun around him. His head still ached, and he could feel a deep hunger in the pit of his stomach. When's the last time I ate? Uneasy on his feet, he slowly found his way into the kitchen. Which is also messy, okay. Noah's kitchen was as bare as ever. He had never used it, really. Most of the time he'd order something to be delivered, or better yet, skip eating. His money was limited, and he'd always put his paint supplies over anything else. Noah reached up to open a cupboard, knowing full well it was bare, when he smelled something. Food. His eyes found a container left on his table with a small note. He picked it up. They read, "Enjoy. I'll bring some groceries around soon. Kane." He wondered for a moment whether he should accept it or not, but eventually his stomach won out against his stubbornness. and he sat down at his dining table alone to eat it. While he sat, he thought. He really hated it when he thought how easily he could just come and go when I'm stuck in here like a corpse in a coffin, buried alive. But what of it? I don't care anymore. That sunlight that I haven't seen for years suits him, not me. Friends, family, all fake. Twisted, corrupted. Just like me. Nothing is pure. Nothing. Except... He brought the fork to his lips, slowly nibbling at the home-cooked food Kane has brought. Still a good cook? He really does have everything going for him these days. Suddenly, he froze, a terror crawling over him. His head throbbed and his stomach lurched. Then he fell. His fork dropped to the table, abandoned. Okay. That's a cool graphic. The world spun around him until it disappeared, spinning, spinning, filling his body with a dread oh so familiar. He squeezed his eyes shut, begging silently for this to stop. He didn't want to be here. He wanted to be home. But when he peeked out of his tightly shut eyes, his home was long gone. His surroundings were still blurred around him, and his body felt as if it were being ripped in all directions, as if at any moment he would be torn into shreds. But he wasn't, and he knew this feeling well. With a thump that didn't reflect how long he'd been falling, he hit the ground. When he opened his eyes again, he saw darkness all around him. Not a human darkness, but a darkness that was something more. Something sinister. Something threatening. A place no one belonged. Noah quickly got to his feet and checked himself over. No injuries. His eyes darted around the bleak, dark landscape. Nothing stood out to him. No one awaited him. This isn't what it's usually like. What's going on? I want to go home. Please. I just want to go home. But he knew full well what was required of him. His footsteps were slow and careful before speeding up in desperation, searching for the person who could free him from this nightmare. He walked and walked, then walked some more, until his feet ached with deep blisters. Yet he still walked, because the alternative wasn't something he wanted to face. Behind him, nothing. In front of him, nothing. If he was working in circles, he wouldn't have known. His feet ground to a halt when he finally saw something. Or someone. A man curled up into a ball, sitting in the distance. Darkness surrounded him, threatening to take over his very essence. The man looked up. His eyes were hollow, filled with sadness. Their eyes locked. Father? Why would I be brought here? How? His mind raced as he tried to come up with any reason, any excuse. The man called out to him, but his words were lost in the shadows, never to be heard. Noah, still frozen, couldn't decide whether he should approach him or run away. His heart yelled at him to run, to put as much distance between them as possible. But his mind saw his only ticket out of here. Okay, I am not enjoying what I think is about to happen. Before he could make a decision, a dark mist started to roll in from a place unseen. It spiraled and spiraled, twisting and turning until someone stepped out of it, okay? Another person surrounded by shadows. His steps were slow, but not careful. Deliberate, perhaps. With purpose. He approached the curled-up man with his heavy steps. Suddenly, the man's voice traveled to Noah. 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 I want my son. Please. Give me my son back. The shadowy man raised his arm. In his hand, what looked like a gun. Bang. There was no hesitation, no pause. Just a single shot through the head. The curled-up man dropped to the ground, his body evaporating into the mist. At least it evaporated. Like, I was worried that he was going to die, but the evaporation at the very least is like, okay, it's not real. The world shook around them. Mountains of shadows came crashing down. The whole world threatened to cease existence in a mere moment. Noah's eyes darted around, searching for a place to escape to, when he finally looked back towards the man with the gun. And as the world came crashing down around him, he swore that the shadowy figure was looking right back at him, too. An empty, eternal darkness. Why is darkness always seen as cold, anyway? If anything, Noah felt like he was surrounded by an intense heat. It was too much, too overwhelming. He thought that at any second, he'd burst into flames. But nothing happened to him, even as he wished for it. Something soft wrapped around his shoulders, holding him tight. He should have been scared, but instead, the pressure felt welcoming. When he opened his eyes again, he was sitting. Noah sat in front of his easel, his hand poised over the canvas. His hands were covered in a splattering of paint. It cracked over his skin, already dry. The darkness that surrounded him suddenly felt light after the place he'd escaped. Noah paused in surprise, his eyes glued to his canvas. On it, a painting of pure darkness. A reflection of a dream. How could this be? I wasn't here. At first, he wondered how, then why, before his mind settled on an answer that didn't answer anything. It's perfect. At some point, the brush had dropped from his hand and landed onto the floorboards. Just another splatter amongst a sea of color. He couldn't look away. He wouldn't. Not when this was everything he'd been waiting for. This is it. Jumping to his feet, he lifted the painting from its place and carefully put it to the side. Who would have thought that which I detest would create my finest piece yet? And all it took was a single dream. He sat back on his stool and slumped forward, deep in thought. My dad let me stay up all night playing. You've got to get it. As if my parents would let me skip out on studying to play games. You won the parent lottery. You can just say you're studying and stay over at my place then. Oh man, really? I'm down for that. Kane leant over Noah's desk, talking and laughing as he usually did. Noah sat lazily, kicking his feet against the legs of the desk, not worried about whether it would annoy anyone else in the room. It was an early morning a few months into semester. Noah had settled into this routine by now, walking to school with Kane, chatting until the bell rang, then wasting the day away until he could go home. Of course, there was more to it than that. Studying, tutoring, pressure from his parents. But all in all, nothing ever shook him up. He was comfortable, bored. Hey, I heard something interesting. What now? Apparently someone's moving into our class. What? At this time of the year? No way, they'd never catch up with the workload. No, for real, my dad said so, and your dad's on the board of directors. Yeah, you say it every time. Do you think it'll be a cute girl? Too cute for you, that's for sure. Shh, my heart. It's fine, you're the only one I need. Kane fluttered his eyelashes, putting on a voice so clingy that Noah physically recoiled. Ew. Hopefully it's a guy so I can make a new best friend. I think something's wrong with mine. You can try. Who else would be able to put up with you? Step, step, step. The door opened as someone walked carefully into the front of the room and behind the desk. Their teacher, Mr. Floyd, stood in front of the classroom before clapping his hands. Alright, take your seats. I have some exciting news today. The class chattered endlessly as the students did as they were told. An excited buzz spread through the room. As some of you may have heard, we have a new student joining our class today. He's just moved here from interstate, so make sure to help him if he gets lost with anything. So boy, guess Kane was wrong about that one. Noah leant his elbows against the desk, resting his head in his hands. For some reason, he didn't find himself at all interested. Anyway, I'll let him introduce himself. You can come in now. A pause. No one opened the door. For a few moments, anyway. Slowly, the door opened wide, and someone stepped in. Noah sat up in his seat, his eyes locked on the boy that entered. Blonde hair and deep, green eyes. He didn't hesitate any longer. He stepped in the front of the class with the brightest smile Noah had ever seen. I feel like I know these intros by heart now. It's nice to meet you all. My name's August, and I've just moved here with my dad. Actually, we move around every couple of months, so I've been to around 7 schools already. A few students gasped in surprise, hanging on to every word he said. Rather than sounding like a well-rehearsed speech, his words flowed naturally and calmly, without a single nerve to be heard. It certainly did seem like he was used to making such introductions. Still, I hope we'll be staying here a while longer, at least enough time to get to know you all. August is a pretty name. I thought it would be a girl with a name like that. What does your dad do? He's a photographer, so he's always traveling and moving. I had the option of staying behind with my grandparents, but I decided to go with him. Whoa, so awesome. I wish I could travel that much. What else to say about me? I like sunsets and long walks on the beach. The room exploded in laughter, but Noah couldn't even manage a giggle. Something about the boy captivated him. Out in his gaze, he held it there. Held it there, whatever. He was afraid if he moved a muscle, the boy would disappear. So he stared, silently. Alright, enough of the dating app intro. Make sure you all make August welcome and show him around later, okay? Go take a seat. There's a spot free over there, next to Noah. Noah waved meekly, and August did the same in return before taking his seat. Whatever was said for the rest of the class, Noah didn't know. He twirled his pencil between his fingers, his workbook abandoned. His elbow rested against his desk as he snuck glances towards August's profile. Every now and then he would shift, making Noah jump and look away. His profile is almost pretty. He continued staring at the boy. Well, not even almost. It is pretty. With that thought in mind, August's eyes finally met Noah's. Noah froze, unsure if he should quickly look away and pretend he hadn't been staring, or if he should just smile and act natural. Eventually, August decided for him. He smiled brightly, tilting his head at the same time. Noah awkwardly smiled back before looking away, his heart racing. Only a few moments later, a folded piece of paper slid onto his desk. Noah looked at it in surprise, then back to August, who simply raised a finger to his lips in a shh motion. I love, the paper, the way that it looks. It's very cute. He put a nose in his smiley face. He did. He wrote his return message carefully on the other side, unsure of what exactly to say. Why did I do it too? So lame. When Mr. Floyd turned his back, Noah quickly scrunched up the paper and tossed it towards August, who meticulously flattened out the screwed-up ball and read the message. Done reading, August propped his elbow up on the desk and rested his chin in his hand, copying Noah's posture, and smiled towards him. Noah's mind went blank, and the rest of the lesson passed in a blur until the bell for lunch suddenly rang. Only when Kane was standing over his desk, waving a hand in front of his face, did he snap out of it. Hello, Earth to Noah, you there? Right, yeah, is it time for break already? Yeah, and Mr. Floyd called on you twice, and you didn't say a word. Are you feeling alright? Yeah, I'm fine, just feeling a little out of it. What do you think of the new guy? What? Noah's cheeks felt hot at the sudden question. Why? I don't know, just making conversation. He seems nice. It's a nice smile, too. Right. Well, I guess we should go greet him, too. Wanna go over now? No, I mean, I'm sure he has a bunch of other people hanging around him right now. Wouldn't want to crowd him. The rest of the classroom was empty. Everyone else had already cleared out, either to eat or chat with friends. August had obviously been pulled along to have a tour with the other classmates. Yeah, seems like he'll be a little hard to get a hold of. Later then. Wanna go get something to eat? I brought food, so I might just eat here. Whoa, you sharing? Don't be stupid, your lunches are way better than mine. And I say, I'm something of a chef de cuisine. Noah laughed in response before pulling out his lunchbox. In it, a sandwich and a few other snacks. Compared to the luxurious meal Kane had cooked for himself, it was nothing. Actually, you can just give me some of yours. You know I'm always happy to share with you. Kane gave Noah a warm smile. He might play around, but Noah knew that Kane would probably do anything for him. The door suddenly rattled and opened. Noah put his sandwich down and turned, just in time to see someone walk towards him. The boy from earlier. August. He sat at his desk quietly, minding his own business. Kane looked towards him, then back to Noah, motioning for him to speak up. You okay? Oh, just a little tired. I thought I could probably hide in here for a little bit. It's really hard to concentrate when the song in the background has lyrics. My name's Noah, which I guess you already kind of knew, and this is Kane. Do you want to eat lunch with us? Is it really okay? Of course, the more the merrier. August turned in his chair with that same bright smile. You get dragged around everywhere by the girls? I think they showed me every inch of this school, which I'm happy about, don't get me wrong, I'm just a little exhausted. I liked your introduction, by the way. I wasn't expecting the music, sorry. What a stupid thing to say. God, I'm so lame. Really? He laughed a little before looking down. I was a little nervous, honestly. It's hard coming in front of new people and talking about yourself. I'm not really that interesting, so I always have to build myself up to do that. You certainly broke the ice. You're gonna fit in well around here, I can tell. Thank you. I really hope so. His voice was gentle and calming. He had an air around him, brightness. I'm gonna go buy a drink. You two want anything? Just the usual. Do you want me to come? Nah, you can wait here. August? Oh, then can I just have the usual too? Noah could feel that gentle smile directed at him all throughout his body. Got it. Kane left the room and it was suddenly silent. Noah tapped his fingers uncharacteristically, wondering what he should say. What he could say to fill the silence between them. Psst. What's the usual, by the way? Just a cola. I wanted to sound cool, but if it was coffee, I would have made an embarrassment out of myself. Yeah. Noah's fingers tapped against the book that sat in front of him as he searched for something to talk about. School. Too boring. Where he lived before here? I bet everybody's already asked him that. What's that? August pointed towards the book under Noah's fingers, his eyes filled with wonder. Oh, that? It's just something stupid, don't worry. Now I'm really interested. Can I see? You really want to see? It's okay with you. It's a little embarrassing. That's okay. I think everyone gets embarrassed about the things they make sometimes. Does it mean so much to you? Feeling shy about his work, he handed the sketch pad over to him. Inside was a plethora of drawings, sketches, and paintings of anything and everything that had caught Noah's attention at one point or another. For once, he was glad he hadn't drawn anything that day, lest August find a drawing of himself. You drew all of these? Yeah. Sorry, I said it was stupid. These are amazing. So beautiful. No, they're just... You have so much talent. His eyes were filled with so much wonder that Noah couldn't help but respond in earnest. I actually want to become an artist. I know it sounds dumb, but amazing. You're really amazing. You'd be a fantastic artist, I can tell. Have you ever tried painting? Oh, I haven't. I can hide these sketchbooks at home, but I think my family might notice if I brought in an easel. Why would that matter? They don't really like me doing art. Well, I think you would be really good at painting. Your drawings are so beautiful. I'm really bad at painting, though, and drawing, and pretty much anything else art related. Maybe we could try together. Noah blurted out the first thing that came into his head before instantly regretting it. However, he responded in earnest. That sounds really fun. I'll take you up on that offer. Noah found himself struggling to reply to that sincerity, unused to anyone being interested. The door opened again, and Kane stepped in. His eyes wandered from August's warm smile to the tinge of red on Noah's cheeks before he frowned. Pushing that to the side, he smiled again and sat the drinks down on Noah's desk. Got him. Enjoy. Thank you. I'll pay for them next time, I promise. It's no problem, don't worry. We can just force Noah to pay anyway. Hey. So, you just moved here, right? Whereabouts is your house? Not far from here. I think it's Fielding Avenue. I'm still wrapping my head around the street names. Both Noah and Kane looked towards each other, blinking in surprise. Number 42? How'd you know? That's the place next door to me. The people living there did move out a few weeks ago. I had no clue. I guess we're neighbors both at school and home then. Maybe we could walk home together? I mean, if you're not busy. Yeah, I'd like that. I mean, it's probably the safer option too. I might get lost otherwise. My dad always told me that if you drop someone in the middle of the woods with a broken compass and half a map, they'd still have a better time finding their way out of there than I would. The bell rang again, signaling the end of lunch. August shuffled back to his desk while Kane gathered his things. Oh. Next to him, August dug through his pile of books before frowning. I think I left my math textbook at home. Mr. Floyd laughed, waving his hand in a carefree manner. You can share with Noah for today. Try to remember for next time. Yes, sir. August carefully dragged his table and chair closer to Noah's until the two were sitting shoulder to shoulder. Alright, everyone, open your textbooks to page... Oh, God, why did I leave it here last time? Go on, say it, Mr. Floyd. Open your textbooks to page 69 and we'll resume our previous lesson on trigonometry. Some kids in the class snickered and giggled. Usually Noah would get at least a glance towards Kane with a smirk, but this time he was completely frozen in place. August leaned his head close to Noah's, his blonde hair hanging down in front of his glasses. He carefully pushed the loose strands behind his ear as he read the textbook carefully. Mr. Floyd's voice faded into the distance as Noah's concentration on triangles wavered. He only snapped back to reality when August mumbled something under his breath. Math might be the death of me. You don't know how to do this? Don't laugh, but I usually only just manage to pass my math tests. I promise I'm better at my other subjects. Do you want to work on these together then? Noah tapped the problems in the textbook with the end of his pencil. Really? Thanks, Noah. Noah. Somehow the name just sounded right rolling off of his tongue. Noah swallowed hard, then finally put his eyes away from the blonde boy. I need to concentrate. So, if we have the adjacent and the hypotenuse... August stared down at his workbook, where he'd copied down the problems and had begun working on them. Then, Noah reached over, wanting to write something beside August's neat handwriting. Noah barely stopped himself from pulling back as their hands brushed against each other. Oh, that makes so much more sense than the way I was taught. Thank you, Noah. I think I get it now. No problem. Noah pulled his hand back, awkwardly fidgeting with his pencil. The rest of the day was much like the beginning, a complete and utter bore. For some reason, Noah couldn't get that smile out of his head, yet at the same time, the thought of it made him nervous. What's wrong with me now? As the clock ticked down second by second until the bell would ring to signal they could go home, the butterflies in Noah's stomach took flight. He tapped his pencil against his desk nervously with a frown. This is stupid. It's not like me to be nervous about anything. He's just another guy anyway. It's not like I'm walking home with a girl. Beside him, August didn't take any note of Noah's actions. Unlike him, August had actually been working through the tasks. Is there something you want to say, or are you just tapping your pencil repeatedly for fun, Noah? Mr. Floyd's voice was light-hearted, and Noah knew instantly he was just joking around, yet his face still went into a deep shade of red. Nothing, Mr. Floyd. When the bell finally sounded for class to end, August was instantly surrounded by people. He struggled between them to move his desk back to where it came from. Kane found his way back over to Noah's desk with a laugh, glancing at the huge crowd. Kinda looked like he'd be shy and quiet, but he seems fine even when he's surrounded by people, huh? In the center of all that gathering, August smiled and chatted away as if it were only natural. Yeah. So why don't we walk around the city? I can show you around. Oh, actually I need to go home and unpack. Next time. Then how about we walk home together? Thank you, but I'm actually walking home with Noah. Turns out we're neighbors. Oh, I'm so jealous. You don't want to spend too much time around him anyway. You're way too nice for him. He's kind of a jerk. Damn. Noah froze at the comment. It's true that he wasn't particularly close to his other classmates, but he'd had no reason to become friends with them all. Yet Kane. Thanks for the compliment, but I think he's probably nicer than I am. Also, I don't think it's nice to talk about people behind their backs. Anyway, I need to go. Thank you for showing me around earlier. August waved them off before joining Kane by Noah's desk. Shall we leave then? Do you live nearby as well? Just across the road, actually. Amazing. This is like fate meeting you two. Yeah. Right. Fate. Noah stood from his seat and gathered his things, dropping his art book into his backpack. With everything tucked neatly away, they left the school. My goodness. The air outside was still warm, and the sun beat down on their faces. The smell of late spring gently soared with the wind. Each step felt like it took great effort. As Noah gripped onto his chest, he wondered if he was starting to get sick. Need something to break the ice. Kane doesn't look like he's going to say anything. Think, brain. Think. So, what kind of things are you into? Noah stood between Kane and August, but all of his attention was directed at the newcomer. I don't really think I'm into anything very interesting. Your hobby is way cooler. We've moved around so much, I never got into any clubs or anything. But I do like reading and taking photos. That's cool. I like reading too. Since when? Since always, Kane. I can't remember the last time I saw you pick up a book. I do have a life outside of when you see me, you know. Wait, really? He feigned shock, but Noah just rolled his eyes and looked back towards August, who was laughing at their antics. You two are really good friends, huh? I'm probably the only person who could put up with them. I'd say it's the other way around. Maybe we should have walked home without you. We'd all be walking the same way anyway. That'd be a little awkward. Whatever. I do like reading, so that's cool. And you like taking photos, too? Yeah, my dad's been teaching me a little. Ooh. I didn't realize you were so into photography, too, Noah. Will you just shut up already? To be honest, I'm nowhere near as good as my dad is. Anyway, it's a little embarrassing only talking about me. And what about you, Kane? Me? His only interests are good food and his own looks. Hey, tell me I'm wrong. I like cooking, and just because I use a moisturizer doesn't make me obsessed with myself. Who uses moisturizer? Don't worry, I do too. Well, I guess it's not that bad. Maybe I should try it. You already have such clear skin. You're really lucky. No, I think yours is a lot nicer. Oh, we can show August the shortcut. Kane smiled, interrupting the conversation. Oh, yeah, good idea. The shortcut? It's easier to show you, but if you take a left up ahead, there's a shortcut through the mountain that leads to behind Noah's house. And yours, now. Really? That's amazing. It's not that much shorter, but it's kind of pretty, I guess. Since when did you find nature pretty? Since none of your business. With a laugh, they made the turn into the greenery and left behind the sounds of civilization. As the sound of traffic dimmed, so too did the sound of the wilderness begin to settle around the trio. A little bit awkward of a sentence, but okay. August looked around in wonder with wide eyes. It's beautiful. This really is a beautiful town. I'm sure you lived in much cooler places than out here. Nothing ever happens. Nothing ever changes. Well, I've lived in a lot of places, but nothing like this. I'm so jealous you even get to see this every single day. Well, we can just walk this way together again, if you want. Not much of a choice if we're all walking the same way. Kane cut into the conversation, taking a few steps to walk ahead of the other two. The ground was uneven, stones that once made a path, broken and reclaimed by nature. Noah and Kane had traversed this terrain all of their lives. August, on the other hand, watched the ground carefully, cautious for anything he could trip on. The ground's a little uneven, so be careful. If you need a hand... Wow! Before Noah could even finish his sentence, August stumbled over a tree root that had forced itself out of the ground. He fell forward, straight towards the edge. With lightning speed, Noah grabbed August's hand and quickly pulled him back onto the path. You okay? Wow, that was close. I'm fine. I'm totally fine. I should have watched where I was going. Thank you, Noah. What would I have done without you? It's no big deal. Just be more careful. I will. Try, at least. Noah looked down to where his hand was wrapped around August's. It felt warm. Warm and comforting. He blinked a few times, staring at the space they had connected. Oh, sorry. I just got a little distracted. Noah quickly ripped his hand away and rubbed at the back of his neck. Kane turned away from the scene and continued onwards. August, ever with a smile on his face, raced to catch up. Quick, Noah, before we get left behind. We're nearly there. See that river over there? Whoa, a river as well? Once you reach the river, you know you're nearly home. See over there, through the trees? This really was a shortcut. In the summer, you can swim there, too. If I'm here in the summer, then we should go together. Finally, they found themselves in front of their houses. Kane waved the other two off and left quietly, which Noah found unlike him. Noah wanted to say something, but he couldn't think of what. Well, see you tomorrow. Do you want to walk to school together tomorrow? Oh, yeah, that would be cool. August smiled at him again, soft and sweet. I'm glad. See you tomorrow, Noah. Noah found himself locked in place as he watched August walk back towards his house. It was only a few minutes later he managed to snap out of it and enter his house. Welcome home, dear. Did you have a good day at school? Yeah, it was alright. Let me take a quick look at your notes. Just want to make sure you're doing your work. I did it. You don't need to check them. I left them at school anyway. Then bring them home tomorrow, do you understand? Why? Do what your mother tells you to do. His father grunted from the sofa, still dressed in a suit from a hard day's work. No one knew he couldn't argue with either of them. Fine, whatever. Did you notice someone new moved in next door? They both froze, as if an uncomfortable subject was mentioned. Yes, unfortunately. There's a new guy in my class, actually. We walked home together. Noah, you shouldn't be spending time with someone like that. What? Why? Just listen to your mother. But why? He seems nice. My dear, you only have to look at them to realize, well, they don't exactly fit in around here, do they? I have a feeling I know where this is going. But go on, say it. Just say it. There's no women in their house. I worry they're a little too feminine-leaning themselves if the father is anything to go by. It's not a good idea for for you to be associated with someone like that. I don't know what you're trying to say. The boy's father turned up on our doorstep yesterday. Don't know how someone like him managed to afford a place here, but they obviously don't belong. Photography. Psh. He should be getting a real job. That's right. They don't look like they have the money to be here, so we sent him off. I don't want to be embarrassed in front of the neighbors. He came by to say hi and you threw him out? You don't need to put it like that, dear. If the son's anything like the father, then you're to steer clear of them. Something's not quite right. Wouldn't be surprised if either one of them batted for the wrong team, you understand? Noah frowned at their words. But, no buts. Ugh. Upset, Noah stormed out of the room. God, they make me so angry. Noah dropped his backpack to the floor and pulled out his sketch pad. Filled with anger, he lazily scrawled lines over a blank page. Filled with anger, he lazily scrawled. What a roller coaster of emotions right there. Why do they have to care so much about how they're seen? Maybe I should go apologize to them. Ugh. For some reason, one comment stuck in his head. I think August... Guys? I mean, he doesn't really seem like he would. They didn't even meet him. But it wouldn't matter if he did. I wonder if he does. His mind kept turning in circles, spinning and spinning, while his pencil dragged harshly down the paper, until finally the lead snapped. Chapter 1? How long is this demo? Oh my gosh! Okay, this demo seems to be a little bit longer than I thought it was going to be, and we've spent quite some time reading already. I think I'm going to end this here. We'll do, I guess, a second episode where I read through chapter 1. But I'm definitely enjoying myself with this, and I hope that you are too. There are some things that I'm like, I'm not sure, especially as we go into what I assume is the future, and we get to, like, this type of scene. It's a little much. But I am interested in seeing where this goes. I will see you guys next time for what there is in chapter 1. And I hope you are excited for that. Thank you for watching this video. And I will see you then.